Top Gun Maverick is directed by Joseph Kosinski. This movie stars Tom Cruise, Miles Teller, Jennifer Connelly, John Hamm, and a bunch of other people. Top Gun Maverick is a sequel to the 1986 film Top Gun. This sequel takes place 36 years after the events of the first film, and we focus on Peter Maverick, who is forced to go back to the United States Navy. He has to confront his past and train an elite group of aviators to go on an urgent mission to prevent this threat to the United States of America. There is a lot more to the story, and you see some subplots continued from the first film, but as of right now, I'll leave it as that in terms of the plot. Top Gun Maverick is a movie I was very excited for. When it comes to the first film, I think it's solid. I don't think it's a great movie or one of Tom Cruise's best, but it is a lot of fun, and I love the cast from the first one, so I would give that movie a 7 out of 10. Despite the fact that I didn't love the first one or even have any nostalgia for it, I was very excited for Top Gun Maverick, mainly for two reasons. I thought the trailers were incredible. When I saw the trailer, the first thing that came in my head was that this movie had a lot of potential to be way better than the first one. And the second reason is because of Tom Cruise. I'm a fan of Tom Cruise. I love most of his blockbusters. And even if all of them aren't great, he has this idea of making sure the audience has the time of their lives. And, he does all his own stunts and he does the craziest things. So that alone is a reason to be excited for Top Gun Maverick. It's been delayed so many times because of COVID. I remember seeing the first trailer in 2019. So it's been almost 3 excruciating long years just to really see this movie on the big screen finally. So it feels kind of unreal to say that I finally watched this movie and that I'm reviewing it for you guys, but let's get to it. Top Gun Maverick is fantastic. To say that this movie is better than the first one is an understatement. This movie is superior to the first one in almost every way. In a lot of ways, this movie feels like a love letter to the first one, and there are a lot of callbacks and nods to the first one that are present, but it ultimately feels like its own thing. Top Gun Maverick stands on its own, and it's one of the reasons why it's so great. But let's review this movie, and let me go in depth as to why I love this film, with those spoilers, of course. Top Gun Maverick is one of those blockbusters that really cares about story and character depth more so than how great the action sequences are. But I'll start with the action sequences. The action sequences in this movie are incredible. In terms of the filmmaking and the technical aspect, you can't ask for anything more. This movie is an adrenaline rush from start to finish. It's a 2-hour and 10-minute film that feels like 90 minutes, and that's how great the pacing is. The action sequences and IMAX are immaculate. It is such an immersive and suspenseful experience, and the third act in particular is flawless. I mean, I cannot ask for a better finale when it comes to Top Gun Maverick. I mean, the filmmaking on display is unreal, and huge props to Joseph Kosinski and everyone else who was involved with that, because it really was a marvelous achievement in terms of how everything was directed and how the whole sound and the whole scope of it all. It was just really spectacular. It's kind of hard to really articulate into words. It's one of those movies that you have to see for yourself. But in terms of the direction and the action sequences, I mean, really, I have no complaints. They are absolutely incredible. Well, so like I said, the action sequences, they're great, but it's really the heart and the story and the characters that really, I think, make the movie stand out from other blockbusters that you see today. With Top Gun Maverick, it really focuses on the main character, Maverick, and how he is still having events from the first film haunt him. And that shows you that Tom Cruise has one of his best performances that he's ever given in his career. I would go as far as saying that. In this movie, Tom Cruise has a lot to do, and I really like his relationship with the character Rooster, played by Miles Teller, who is Goose's son from the first film. And I will say both of their bantering and their duo, or maybe not a duo, but anyways, their scenes together, it really makes for some of the best scenes of the movie. And those scenes aren't even action scenes. So it really goes to show you that this movie really focuses more on how characters are being affected and just the whole dramatic sequences of it all. So yeah, Tom Cruise is fantastic in the movie. So is Miles Teller. I always thought he was an underrated actor, and in this movie, he really shines. Everyone else is very good too. Jennifer Connelly, who plays a love interest of Tom Cruise in the film, and I will say they have such great chemistry. I think the romance in this film is a lot better than the first film. The first film, I thought the romance was okay. I think you could have taken the romance out of the first film and it wouldn't have really done anything. With the second one, it feels justified and it made for another highlight to the movie. So in terms of performances, everyone is really good. But for me, the standouts were Tom Cruise and Miles Teller. So the action sequences, like I said, they were incredible. The score is awesome. I would say you should see this movie in either IMAX or Dolby because watching this on the biggest screen is an absolute must. Although if you don't see in either IMAX or Dolby and just watch it in theaters, I think you'll be fine. But my recommendation is seeing it in a special format, maybe IMAX for this one because it was filmed with IMAX cameras. So there's a lot of emotion and it has a really heartfelt narrative. And there are some callbacks to the original that I really appreciated. Despite not having much nostalgia, I found myself so invested in the characters here. And honestly, as a whole, it's just a remarkable film. Some beats are repeated from the first one. I can't say it's a masterpiece because there are some moments that feel very similar to the first one. There's even a character here called the Hangman, who's very similar to the Iceman. The actor did a really good job, but it did feel very similar to Val Kilmer for the first one. So, yeah, there are some little minor flaws with that, but other than that, this is such a terrific film. I would definitely see it again. I would highly recommend checking it out. Top Gun Maverick is one of the best movies of the year. I'm going to give Top Gun Maverick a 9 out of 10. In my opinion, it's way better than the first one. And if you haven't seen Top Gun Maverick in theaters, you should right away because it's one of the best of the year and it's one of the best blockbusters and sequels I've seen in a long time. And I mean that with no exaggeration. I'm so happy it's doing so well at the box office, by the way. I'm sure you guys have seen the articles, but it's killing it at the box office. Very happy for that. So that's my review of Top Gun Maverick. I hope you guys enjoyed it and will take it into consideration if you plan on seeing the movie or not. And I'll see you guys next time soon with another review. I don't know of what yet, but we'll have to see. So make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, share this review if you want, and I'll see you guys next time. So until then, thank you. Have a great day.